Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elka, and we're here again to help you succeed on the Zazzle platform, which is an online print-on-demand platform that we have been using since 2008 and have successfully sold over $15 million worth, and our clients have sold over $165 million worth. And they've done that using our 5 strategies. So today we're going to unpack our 5 strategies that we teach in the Profit by Design Academy. Obviously, we can only give you like a high level view, but you can check along with when we walk through each of the strategies to see whether this is one of the places where you're missing something in your Zazzle business. If that's, currently you're stuck or you're not making as much as you want, or you hear about some of our clients making $10,000 to $20,000 a month, and that's earnings, that's like take-home salary from Zazzle, not the sales, and you go like, how the heck are they doing that? So let's go into these 5 strategies today, because those are the ones that our clients are using. That's what we used, and this is why we're teaching this, because it's like 5 strategies that you use together, and they're definitely interwoven. Make sure you understand that you can't just do one. You have to do all of them properly. But by doing them properly, you're actually running a proper business. It's not just an online store where you're trying to make a few bucks. Instead, you're building a business that's long-term, sustainable, and that's what we want for you, because then you're empowered. Then you understand how to do business online. And whether it's one Zazzle store or many Zazzle stores, or even moving into some other space, you're going to understand the principles of how to run a successful business. And that's how we want to empower you to get to that point where you go like, I'm invincible, I can do this. So let's get started with the very 5 strategies that have helped us change our lives completely. We just don't even know what our other lives look like anymore because it's been so long, but we got the freedom, and like, it's cliche, but we've got the freedom of time, we got the freedom of money, we got the freedom of location. And because of that, our entire lives have changed from what we thought we had to do in our lives to be a sustainable, like have a business or any sort of income that's going to keep us safe, to allow us to do all the things we want to do in our lives without having to worry about money, and also just having that time freedom, which is the thing that I love the most, where I didn't miss out on anything. I loved being a mom. I loved being there for everybody when they were doing soccer practices or dance recitals or graduations, and even now the freedoms that I have are just to be able to, if it's a nice day, go and do something, not just go to work, or to travel and spend any money that I want to travel wherever I want all over the world. This is Zazzle earnings, because I made that Zazzle shop work for me, and the 5 strategies were the key. Okay. And I hope you're excited, and let's jump in, right? Because if you're not, then I'll see you in another video, maybe. But if you just got piqued with your interest and you're like, yeah, that's what I want, then let's get to work.
Well, the first strategy is strategy number 1, which is establish. And this is to build the proper foundation in your Zazzle business. And it is important, first of all, because you're building the crucial parts to then build off of that to create your Zazzle business. And if you don't start out properly, then unfortunately, many months down the road, or even years down the road, you might turn back and realize that certain things had not been implemented properly, and you have to go back and change things. For example, your brand, your niche, and your perfect avatar, and also the structure of setting up your Zazzle business with your categories and the direction that you want to go in moving forward. And Elka and I definitely were struggling at the beginning of when we first started out our Zazzle business, because we didn't have a plan to build the foundation of our Zazzle business. We just started our store, picked a random name, opened up a store, and started posting random products for sale just to try and see if things would work. And so that is why when Elka created the 5 strategies, establish was the first one, because you need to start out from the beginning doing the right thing.
And yeah, we were throwing spaghetti against the wall, so to speak, right, to see if it sticks. And because of that, we realized obviously that's not working. What do we need to get done in order for it to work? And we just had to go back to basics, and we had to realize, well, there's no reason why someone would buy from us, because we don't have a target that, a customer that we could serve properly and intentionally, because we weren't even like targeting the right people. We weren't understanding that customer. We weren't actually able to design specifically for that customer, or provide, if it wasn't a design that we were creating, then a graphic we purchased or whatever, doesn't matter. It was not something that customer even wanted. And by understanding that skill set, or like even learning that skill set of how to meet the customer's needs, and then getting the skill sets to understand the SEO and speak their language, and then having that all established in your store is so important. And when that happened and we did all that, we just sort of stepped back and did the work, then all of a sudden the sales started coming in. That's why this is the first strategy and the most important. But I actually told Jen to take that off so that you listen to all the other 5 or the other 4, because the 5 together have to work together. You can't just do that and then go like, well, Alk and Jen said this and now it's still not working. Is because you have to have the complete package, right? It's like saying, okay, Coca-Cola decided to use that font for their name, and they decided they were going to make Coke, but they never decided how many Coke bottles they were going to manufacture, and where they were going to sell it, and how they were going to promote it, and all those things. So just bear with us with all the strategies. We can't just do this one, even though all of the others don't work if you don't build this one first, right? It's your foundation. It'll crumble. Something will go wrong, or something won't work properly in order, because you just don't even have this. And a lot of it actually, just so that you know, and not that we're trying to tell you that you don't know what you're doing, but you have to look internally and go like, what is it that I'm missing? Because I'm the business owner. I'm actually, like, you are your most valuable asset in this business that you're starting on Zazzle. And if you don't have the right skill sets yet to meet the need, and to develop the products, and to be time efficient in how you use your time, and what decisions you make, those are all part of establishing your core ability to run and build a business that's 5 to 6 figures in earnings. And so that establishment of you as the asset delivering to create that successful business is the key, in addition to just even knowing who you're going to serve.
Mm-hmm. All right. And that brings us to strategy number 2, which is called create. And this is it's after strategy number 1, you implemented now your brand, and you figured out your niche and perfect avatar. And now, because you know those things, strategy number 2 becomes easier to do, because you've done your initial research. Because creating the products in your store is one thing. A lot of Zazzle designers, when they first start out, they get overwhelmed, first of all, with all of the possibilities, because Zazzle offers over 1,500 product types and styles for you to design on. So it's just a lot of fun to start designing whatever products may be on the Zazzle platform, and just explore with your creativity. However, if you have your strategy number 1 honed in, you now know a certain direction in terms of the research that you're going to be doing for your product types, and also design types. Because depending on your niche and also your avatar, you have to cater your design and product choice to serving a customer's need, and be intentional with your product creation. Because if you're not being intentional with your product creation, unfortunately, you're going to be wasting a lot of time making products that most likely won't end up selling, just because that they either don't fit a specific need. They are either products that you personally like and you've created because you find them cool and you would buy them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your avatar would buy them. It's quite fun when people in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program learn to create intentional products. And we have personally seen products being made because of the wants and needs of the actual designer, where they say, I'm not going to post that for sale because I don't like it, or I personally wouldn't buy it. Well, unfortunately, you or your family members are not the people who are going to be providing you your income on a monthly basis. So you have to do your intentional research to figure out what your perfect avatar or customer would want, and be so specific in terms of design style, themes, colors, and also needs and wants in terms of, occasions or home decor or sports equipment. So depending on what your niche is, you have to hone in on intentional products. Because I personally have spent hours and hours and hours creating products on the Zazzle platform, which never translated into sales because they weren't intentional products and it was just me having fun. And that's where it's considered a hobby and not a business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've coined that phrase intentional products because it really gives a description of what is involved, right? There's intentionality in all aspects. There's intentionality of serving the customer. There's intentionality of, desire and need that the customer has, that you've done the research. And you're also, just as Jen said, we really don't want you to waste time. We want you to have the most success with whatever work you do, which means that it has to have a higher probability of selling right away, which means that you have to think about what is currently trending, what is currently a need that people are searching for and want help with. And that together with just you delivering on that design, etc., and giving them the ability to actually customize it the way they need to, or having like any sort of issues with regards to purchasing, that is part of intentionality as well, where you're looking at like as a customer, you're looking at this product going, I love it. And then you have some sort of frustration level of how you can customize it, add your own photo, etc. And if that's the case, then you're not being intentional with that customer because you're not actually allowing that customer to have a good customer like experience. And because of that, you're going to not get that sale. And we want you to get the sale. And then the one other thing that we want to add here is intentionality with your overall inventory, right? As John mentioned, we learn from our mistakes and then we help people to overcome those even before they make them. That's why create is strategy number 2, because as most of you know probably, that when you go onto any platform and you think, okay, the first thing I have to do is just compete with everybody. And because I want to compete with everybody, I have to just make a gazillion products. And then after a while, you realize, wow, I've done so much work and I'm not getting any sales. I'm not getting paid for that. So then it switches from excitement and overachievement to frustration and lack of achievement and lack of action. And because of that, you start to have this negative viewpoint as to whether or not you're able to do this. And that's not where we want you. We want you in a position where you consistently keep getting wins, and then the wins build on each other, and then exponentially all of a sudden you have a product inventory that consistently wins for you, and it keeps growing, and you're more consistently creating winners and bestsellers, so that then your whole product base becomes a huge cash cow, and you've got multiple products each as bestsellers that are churning out money for you. By having that concept right in your brain to start with, you realize, oh, well, I shouldn't just flood the market with every combination permutation just to get a sale. Instead, I think I can manage to really target XYZ as an intentionality and then serve that customer better because I'm not wasting my time making all these other products that are probably never going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And so this reshifting the mindset with regards to that is so important, and we want you to hear that, because everyone thinks less products is lack, and actually less products means abundance because you're actually being intentional.
Mm-hmm. And what's also tied into strategy number 2, create, is not only intentional products, but learning how to design on the design tool and
Oh yeah.
navigating the way that you design the products. Because in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program, like we mentioned, we teach these 5 strategies to our clients. Part of it is creating the intentional product and understanding your research and what you need to create. But then the second part is actually creating the product properly, because if you don't know how to use the Zazzle design tool, unfortunately, you can make very tiny but very large mistakes that will influence whether or not somebody buys your product, regarding templates, text bounding boxes. if you have enough space, if the product is going to be printed properly. And so you have to have a really good knowledge of how to use the design tool so that you make it as easy as possible for a potential customer to come to your product, customize it as easy as possible, and then the purchasing what's it called, the purchasing process will be as easy as possible. First of all, they won't then not buy your product and go to another product, or you won't get very many returns, right? Because you could have a product that sells, but then the customer buys it and realizes that there's something wrong with it. And so understanding how to utilize the design tool and making sure that all of your layers and components of your design are on par, because you don't want to have a customer shy away from buying your product just because of a mistake that you did in the design tool.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
strategy number 3. And this is all about promotion. And what we call it is announce, because we don't want to call it promotion. People have such like fear of being too salesy, or having to push product. There's so many negative terms associated with it. But if you say announcing to the world, this is now available, that's a whole other way that you can feel about your products. And then it doesn't feel icky when you're promoting, because you have to promote. You have to be able to say, I did this. This is here. You can use it. This is for you. I made it for you. And if you use that sort of approach, even with your promotion, and it's not just, I made this, I made this, I made this. Instead, you go like, I can serve you with this. That changes everything in terms of how you promote. And it is the core of how we teach people how to promote successfully on the Zazzle platform within our Profit by Design Academy coaching program. Do you want to add to that? Or is that like almost like, it just sums it up in a nutshell, because it's so important. And
Promotion is very
so
important. I want to just say there's also 2 forms of promotion, that there's internal promotion and external promotion. Internally being on the Zazzle Marketplace, which we teach in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program, how to utilize your store to cross-promote products. And then externally promoting, which is clearly on social media or on Pinterest or anything externally, like on a blog or a YouTube channel. Because once you actually promote your products, first of all, you're gaining more eyeballs on your products, because not everybody in the entire world knows about Zazzle, but you can promote on social media and externally to get more customers to come to your store, which originally maybe they wouldn't have ever found your products. And also, in addition to that, you can make extra money by earning referral income, because you're promoting your products externally and bringing them to the Zazzle Marketplace. So if you make a sale off of one of your links that you use to promote, you can earn 35% more on top of your 10% royalty, which we recommend people to set their royalty at.
Mhm. And then there's active promotion and passive promotion. And we love the passive part. In fact, the first thing you think of is, oh, I have to start paying for ads to send traffic to my products. And when you have that mindset, you realize, wow, I have to pay on top of that in order to sell something. It's something that's ingrained in people. And yet on Zazzle, it's actually not even allowed, because they don't want you to compete with their ads that they're using to actively promote products from Zazzle. So we have passive opportunities to organically promote our products, such as what Jen said, with putting it on Instagram, or like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and also Pinterest, obviously, or on your blog or your website. But the passiveness comes back to proper labeling, which again goes back to, and this is why it's all interwoven, because part of creating is also posting it properly with the right SEO and keywords. And if you do that right, then all the other things in terms of promoting make it very easy. And also your product will be better found in terms of searches on the Zazzle Marketplace, or searches on Google, or searches on Pinterest. And that organic, passive way of promoting has served us so well over the many, many years that we've been on Zazzle, to the point where there's still things that are being sold right now. And there's absolutely no way that we did that actively to get that customer to come to our store. That was all SEO or search engine optimization keyword usage to get that product found, even amongst billions of listings and products and places where this could have been, where this product could have been found, and it still worked. And I love that because that's one thing we did one time when we first listed the product. And years later, multiple different sales all the way along through, and never another active need to promote once. It just happens because it's already out there. And I love that part about our ability to promote on Zazzle that way. It doesn't happen in too many other platforms.
Mm-hmm. All right, coming to strategy number 4, which is align, which is in aligning your Zazzle goals and your mindset. And the topic of mindset sometimes is a little bit touchy. Not everyone likes to talk about their feelings or what they're thinking, but mindset is very, very important when it comes to creating a Zazzle business and working properly and making those proper strategic business action steps and decisions, because our mindset affects how we act and how we do things for work. And aligning your Zazzle goals with your mindset is very important, because you first of all have to set your Zazzle goals. If you have not set your Zazzle goals, then unfortunately you're not treating it as a business. And then once you set your Zazzle goals, then you'll have something to achieve, right? And accomplish and move towards. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I first started out on Zazzle, I didn't actually value myself as a business owner to be able to set my own goals. And that might sound like a weird thing to say, but I didn't think that I was capable of earning a certain amount of money each month, because I didn't have, first of all, the experience or the guidance or the confidence in myself as a business owner. And once I really checked in with my mindset and understood why I was thinking those things and reworked my brain into a positive mindset, it allowed me to set Zazzle goals and actually work towards achieving them, rather than feeling defeated and overwhelmed that I wouldn't be able to accomplish them.
And I think that probably resonates with a lot of people. I as well. I'm in a way a little bit of an opposite. I overset my goals, and then made myself very depressed because I didn't make them. Whereas, Jen didn't even want to start setting the goals. But in the end, as Jen said, it's just a matter of how you deal with what's going on in your heart and up here. And if you allow yourself the ability to believe that if it's not something you're supposed to know how to do yet, if you just get the help you need with our follow-up plan or some sort of example of what's been done before, then that takes the stress off, right? And then it's like, I can dream now. I can allow myself to reach these high and mighty goals. The other thing that was kind of interesting for me as a learning when I did this, as I got better and better and started earning more money, is that I liked to, even though I set my goal way beyond where I needed to initially, once I learned that I should set more reasonable goals and then a stretch goal, and it actually developed my ERSD goal setting technique, which we teach in the Profit by Design Academy. But if you just want to look that up, and we can talk about that in another training if you'd like. It's a really cool way to set goals, but you're actually setting 4. You're setting an easy, a reasonable, a stretch, and a dream. And so, for Jen, it was the easy, so that it felt comfortable for her. And for me, it was the dream. But then in between are the ones that are really important, because by stretching a little bit for Jen's goal to make it a reasonable goal and calling it reasonable, it allowed her to go like, you're allowed to dream and have that reasonable goal. Whereas for me, it was like, okay, my dream goal is this, but how about if you just work toward your stretch goal so you're not always defeated? It's like, yeah, I can handle that. And so because of that, those kinds of things, your brain is being guided and
Yeah.
you're actually having a little bit more fun with it, and you're taking something that's quite stressful, where you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Can you do it? Is it manageable, or are you going to be defeated? Instead, you're now having fun in your business. And because you're having fun in your business, you do better in your business. And because you do better in your business, you get more earnings, and then it just snowballs. And I love that about the whole process.
Yeah. No, so many people who have come into our Profit by Design Academy coaching program and have set their ERSD goals were exactly like myself, where they would rather not set a goal because they didn't want to be defeated, or that they were nervous about setting a big goal because along the way it maybe not what might not work, or that way it gives you those certain levels. And a lot of people feel really confident doing that, and it's changed a lot of people's goal setting techniques, not only with their Zazzle earnings but with their life in general as well.
And it's
So
not something you set all the time, or like you don't have it set in stone. So it gets changed. And one of the biggest joyful moments in all of our coaching client calls is like, I had to reset my ERSD goals, i.e., like they were doing so well that the easy was now so easy that they were actually hitting their stretch goal all the time.
yeah.
And it's a fun moment to celebrate for sure.
Yeah. And that brings us to strategy number 5, which is analyze. And this is knowing and understanding your numbers and your sales and what's going on in your Zazzle store. And I like to call it being like like Sherlock Holmes or a sleuth or a detective, because although numbers can be scary, numbers have to be known, because if you don't know your numbers, then you can't make changes for the better, or improve what you're doing, which is good, or improve what you're doing, which is not so good. And I am probably like the guinea pig for everyone. So I have a story that's quite funny and I can laugh about it now. But when I first started out on Zazzle, I did everything in the books that was wrong. So didn't set my goals, didn't look at my earnings, was nervous to open up my account balance all the time, didn't care what my numbers were. You just kept on making products and pumping out things into my Zazzle store, hoping and praying, fingers crossed, that things would work, because I was just a very nervous worker, I think, at that point in time. I started out when I was 18. This was my first online business. I didn't know what I was doing. Thankfully, I had Elka to guide me and, calm me down. But strategy number 5 was very nerve-wracking for me because I did not like the numbers. However, I've come to learn, and so many other people have come to learn being part of our Profit by Design Academy coaching program, and also just even listening to free training like this, that strategy number 5 should not be scary. And the only way that you can improve is to know your numbers. And the reason why it's scary is because that you don't have a plan or a direction. And that's why people don't like looking at their numbers. But if they look at their numbers, then they can make certain decisions based on, if this is working, if it's not working, how can I change this? How can I maximize these sales because I'm actually selling this product? And how can I rework it into my homepage or rework it into my collections or my categories? And it's just extremely important, especially during not only the end of the year, right? Because if you think of it like cyclical in terms of yearly strategy, but even every quarter too, to understand, because we are in a retail space, right? On the online print on demand platform, we're selling products that are for sale where people buy. There's fluctuations throughout the entire year based on the season, based on the time of year. And so understanding the numbers in certain chunks throughout the year will help you move forward even into the next year or even into the next couple of months from now.
Yes. And that's why in this coming year, 2025, we're actually implementing the quarterly analysis right into the Profit by Design Academy. We always suggested it, but now we're actually going to make people do it because it's so valuable. It will help you it will be immensely helpful. And yes, we're going to make people more comfortable with the numbers, even though they're uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think another part of being like that, there's all that personal aspect of this is going to show me that I'm either not so good or I'm
Yeah.
okay. But even the even when you are successful, there's this issue of being like worried about success, that you can repeat it or etc. And so there's a lot of it's like a minefield. It's not just mindset. It's like a minefield of mindset issues that you're testing and trying out and seeing where you truly react with these different pieces of doing a business. And by helping you walk through them each and going like, it's okay, there's help, and this is how you can do it. And look, after you've done it once, is it that bad? And actually that makes it so much easier. And then you realize the value, because we can tell you about the value all you want right now, but then when you actually do it and you see it, that's when it clicks in that, wow, this is super important. Just like what Jen just said, like now she understands, she's learned. And But it wasn't me that told her that over and over again before she learned. She just experienced it and then realized, this is really important. And
Hmm.
we want that for you, because look at what you're thinking, right? You're thinking, I want to make $1 million a year in sales, but I'm not checking to see how I'm doing that or how I'm going to get there, etc. And you're not going to plan. You're not analyzing what worked, what didn't work. And so that disconnect is when you fix that disconnect, even if you realize a lot of stuff was not done right, it means that, oh, that didn't work. That's fine. Let's move to something else. And instead of doing it over and over again and getting more and more disappointed that something's not working. So I think that's the biggest, it almost comes as a relief once you actually understand the numbers, but even more so knowing what to do when you get the numbers and they're there
Hmm.
and you've actually looked at them. And that's where the Profit by Design Academy comes in as well, is because we teach you how to do something with those numbers and something productive that's going to help you make even more sales on Zazzle, of course.
And also with looking at your numbers, just to wrap it all up, it gives you more confidence, and then you start to do it naturally, right? And you don't have to even worry about it. And it becomes a daily routine, it becomes a monthly routine, and it becomes part of you as a business owner, just understanding that you have to be on top of your numbers, because if you're not on top of your numbers, then unfortunately you can't guarantee your certain amount of income. And of course, you are here watching this video because you want to create a viable business that makes you consistent income each month. And unfortunately, you can't just snap your fingers and hope for the best. You have to do the work, right? And so this is where we help make looking at the numbers fun and easy, and helping you understand that making you know those numbers will allow you to make certain business decisions going forward that you will be able to feel confident in. And the reason why you don't feel confident is just you don't either have the support or the coaching or the community to allow you to do that, to open you up to new possibilities and to growing your Zazzle business.
So that wraps it up. All the 5 strategies: establish, create, announce, align, and analyze. I hope that has been incredibly helpful for you to understand the overview of what's involved in running not only a Zazzle business, but pretty much any business.
Yeah.
But we're applying it specifically to Zazzle because so many people come in as creatives or people who've never done an online business before. And it's essential that it's not just go to Canva, create an image, go to Etsy, stick it up on your store, and hope for the best and sell a gazillion dollars. That's not how it works. And if you really check in to see how other people are doing this, they have to have these 5 strategies in place. And that, to us, is the essence of what switched it from people that aren't doing so well on Zazzle to doing incredibly well on Zazzle. And for anyone who's starting out, they've saved so much time and so many frustrations and so many heartaches if they just follow these 5 strategies and put them into place properly. And so we're excited to be able to talk about them and help you do whatever you need to do in order to either just follow these on your own or come and join us in the Profit by Design Academy. So you just get the step-by-step. What do I do next, Elka? What do I do next, Jen? And then you'll be all set to go.
Mm-hmm. So before you leave and before we leave, make sure that you click the link in the description of this video. There's a free downloadable for you to get that will help you move forward in your Zazzle business. Completely free. All you have to do is put in your email, click the link in the description, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch out for more content, because we are going to be putting out more videos to help you learn how to make money online with Zazzle. And we can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.